I got a couple lights to install real quick. If I can get the box open. What I'm doing is installing LED panel lights. They're 2x4s. They come as flat panels that go in your ceiling tile. They just mount right in. They have a little box on the back of them that you run your wire in. So I got to do a little bit of wiring. Not bad. It's a push tab and you just insert it. Hear that? That's the sound of money. You wanna know what sound of money is? That's it. Ching, 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 ching. Ching, 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 ching. I got a couple lights to install real quick. If I can get the box open. What I'm doing is installing LED panel lights. They're 2x4s. Come as flat panels that go in your ceiling tile. They just mount right in. They have a little box on the back of them that you run your wire in. So I got to do a little bit of wiring. Not bad. It's a push tab and you just insert it. Real simple. There's really not a whole lot to it. They're 5,000K, which is really bright. That's what I would recommend in a laundromat. If you see lights that say 1,000K or 2,000K, they're going to be a softer color. They're going to be more yellow. And the higher the number you get, the more it's going to be like this light behind me, really bright and crisp, more like a cool white light. 5,000K is really good. These lights are like, for two of them, it's 130 bucks. I think that's really good. They come out of Texas, and somehow I get them in 3 days where I'm at, so they ship them really fast. And I want to say the name of the company is LED USA. I'll put a link in the description below. I don't get paid by them or anything, but it's where I get my lights from my laundromat, and I love this company. I had one time they shipped that was broken, and no questions asked. They said, I will ship you 2 more. I mean, no questions asked. I mean, you can't beat that. One thing in this laundromat that they did that's super cool is they put, it's super cool in this laundromat is the ceiling lights are all, they ran conduit up high in the ceiling and they have outlets. So they installed them this way. So they installed them, basically just plug them in, and those outlets up there are all controlled by the timer. These are these little inverters I'm talking about. Just not a good setup. tell a huge difference in here already. These two are they're just a little bit lighter shade than these are the 5,000. These are like 4,800 or something like that. What you want? You want it to be bright. You want it to be nice. See, this is how these doors get broke. Just like this. People slam those doors. See what I mean? You come in, nice and bright, got big dryers running. I'm going to talk about a problem you're going to have with Horizon washers. People have asked me about these washers. Now hips, they come in hips and they come in speed queens. The main 5 issues you're going to have with one of these: door locks, drains if they're pumps are going to plug, you're going to have the bearing issue eventually, and the shock absorber, and then the 5th one you're going to have is the water valve. It'll sometimes go out. I've never replaced any of these water valves in this laundromat. My other one I've replaced probably 4. This laundromat I haven't done any shocks yet. The other one I'm going to have to do damn near all 10. I have done bearings here and I have done door locks. And that's just the notorious problems with them. Now there's a couple defects on the older style that I'm going to point out real quick. I'm actually debating right now about taking these middle panels you see right there off and having them powder coated silver, and then painting the doors black because they're plastic, and the white's horrible. White's a horrible color in a laundromat. It gets dirty quick. People notice the dirt. Everything attracts to it. It's just bad. But on these washers, on the door seal, I'm sorry, there was a 6th thing. The door seal is another thing. So there's actually 6 items. The door seal is the last one. You will go through those. Now let's go through how to kind of see with some of the issues you're going to have. See, this one ain't so bad, but you see that? That's rust. They do a really crappy job when it came to the paint around the edges of these washers. And the soap sits here and splashes up there and rusts that out. Now these are only 10 years old and this is what they look like. Okay, actually 13. These are 13 years old, I'm sorry. And that's what they look like. See, that one's worse. That one's not so bad. And I know what you're saying. You're like, Keenan, do you ever clean your soap trays? Every other day. See, that's pretty clean. Every other day we clean them. That's just how much soap they dump in them. Now we're going to talk about these door seals. Now this one's getting wore out. It's getting hard water stains on it. How to tell if you need to change this door seal. What you want to look for is right in this area, and it'll be frayed and it'll start to get ripples in it. I don't know if I can see that good enough. You see that ripple? That's not normal. And these ripples will get a lot worse. And you can see, then you'll see water staining here. This is actually old. I've changed this door seal a few times. You'll see water staining in here. But this will actually start to ripple and feather out. It'll actually be wavy. Hard water's hard on these seals. People think this is mold. It's actually hard water caking up on the rubber. And this thing that sucks is these things are like 100. Those seals are like 130 bucks. So not so great. And the door lock I'm talking about is this little gizmo here. Basically, this button here is what screws up. It's a real simple little switch that when the door pushes this, it knows it's shut, and then these tabs in here lock in place. Well, this thing wears out, and there's some adjustments you can do where it touches here. People will say you got to have a certain space here, but most of the time what I found is this little mechanism in there is burned up. The 2 tabs that touch each other have burnt up. Now let's talk about shock absorbers. When you look at these machines and you come to buy a laundromat, how do you tell the shock absorbers are good or not? You shake this drum and you see if it stops. If it's hard to shake, those shocks are good. Now I'm going to show you how you tell if a bearing's going out in a washer. Let's say you buy a laundromat that's unattended. You buy a laundromat and the machines aren't running, or you don't want to bend them and listen for bearings. The bearings will make a growling noise. It'll actually sound like there's rocks in there, kind of. And I don't have any bearings out right now to let you listen to, but the simplest way you can tell is you pick up on this drum and you pull the drum towards you, and if that drum moves, see, it doesn't move. And I'll show you the lip here that I'm moving. Basically all you're doing is you're just picking up, you're trying to pull this gap, you're trying to pull this drum this way. And by doing that, what happens is when you're pulling up on that drum, you're pulling towards you and up, that drum has this trunnion in the back, and I'll show you an example in the other room. But if that shaft, if those bearings are bad, that shaft will move. It won't move a lot, but if you can move that drum up and down, those bearings are bad in that washer. That's an easy way to check about bearings, especially in these hard mounts. Now that goes for all hard mount washers. The other thing I would suggest, if you're going to buy a laundromat, turn all the machines on. Run everything. Run everything. If you're afraid to run everything and you're afraid to spend some money on it, then well, you don't need to be buying a laundromat. Because who buys a house and goes, well, I bet the water heater works, or I bet the furnace works. So don't do it with your business where you're spending all your money. Now I'm going to show you a picture of this trunnion. I know it's dark back here. This is the back of a hard mount washer. This black thing here is a trunnion. There's a bearing up here and there's a bearing back here, and they're different sizes, and that shaft actually is a different size as it comes out. To replace bearings in this machine, you take this off from the back. I know maybe someday I'll show that, but I don't have any out at the moment. But that's what a trunnion is. And I don't think I have any of the back of these open. But here's an example of what those shock absorbers look like. This one's bad. See that? I know the doors. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Keenan, the door's missing. It's going to shake. Even with this cover off, it shouldn't shake like this. These shock absorbers, there's 4 of them, 2 in the front and 2 in the back, and this is a big counterweight here. They're bad. They actually, what happens is the oil leaks out through the top of them. There's a little plastic thing, and that's basically how they have the issue. I did have the question about showing how to change a bearing in a horizon or a hitch, and I am going to do a video on that in the next day or so. So if you're seeing this clip, actually right after this, there's going to be a video of me changing out a bearing in the back of a horizon, because it's a super easy job. Hope you liked the video. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I can always use more subscribers. I'm one of those people, just love subscribers. I love people to talk to. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're staying healthy. Hope you're not getting the kung flu, whatever we call it now. So until next time, take it easy.